welcome to my YouTube channel. Betty Silk Studio is my pattern design label. I design sewing patterns. Since I was on the Great British Sewing Bee a couple of years ago, well, let's think, 2023 it was, I've really understood that the stitching habit goes way deeper than I ever realised. I mean, it's always been there, but being on that show really taught me just quite how deep the roots go. So I've set up Betty Silk Studio as my space to design patterns and explore those roots much further. I've had about 6 months of putting my patterns out there now, and it's been going really nicely. I've had some lovely feedback on, I've got one really great pattern, the La pants that I've put out there, and that's just gone down a storm and people seem to really enjoy it. And if they make one pair, then they make another 4. And I've got a couple of other patterns that I've worked on, the caftan, which was based on one of my Sewing Bee garments, a garment of the week, in fact. But I'm just starting to realise, after a lifetime of feeling like fashion just wasn't for me. I'm really short, I'm quite curvy. I've never quite understood the runway haute couture thing. And then a few years ago, I went to the most amazing Dior exhibition at the V&A. And I was it took me on this, it was so brilliantly curated, and it just, something clicked in my head anyway. And I just remember sitting there in the the middle garden at the V&A, just thinking, I just need to throw out all my clothes and design and make my entire wardrobe. But I don't have that education. I don't feel like I've had a really solid sort of understanding of how to put a collection together. I know loads about sewing. Going on Sewing Bee helped me to draw some faith in my my design skills for garments. So here I am. Here we are. Betty Silk Studio is born. I've got a tiny toe in the water of designing patterns, but I want to do more. I want to do loads more, and I'd love it if you come with me on the journey. I have got lots of learning to do. I've got all sorts of technical things. Whatever stage you're at, let's face it, there's always something technical to learn, whatever stage you're at. There's always technique, there's always an artisan collective to learn from, there's always a fabric that you've not worked with. There's that. There's also things like understanding style as opposed to fashion, like what's in on the runway this season versus the thing that people say is the eternal, you've got style. People will know you from your style. So I've been a bit confused by both of those things. And here I am in my 50s, starting a new business on my own, by the way, never too late, people. And I just think part of what I want to learn is, so when they talk about fast fashion, not fast fashion, the big design houses like Dior, Chanel, they have the house codes. Now, I'm not a massive fashion house, and neither do I want to be, but I do want to know what my codes are. So what are the codes that we, as middle years women, want? I don't want to shop at Wallis. It's irrelevant for me. And I don't want to shop at places where really they're designed for teenagers. What else is there? If I go to somewhere like, I don't know, COS or White Stuff, it seems to be designed for people who are about 6 foot tall. I'd have to spend about £200 on a linen dress that I'd have to chop quite a lot off the bottom of, and then the proportions don't work. And do I want to wear that anyway? I just find myself at this moment in time a bit confused by it all. I think there's a transition to be made in my life to my just grasping hold a bit more of a really kind of mature, grounded and elegant way to do my wrapping up. I don't know if that makes sense. Anyway, this is just the first video, so if it doesn't make sense, that's okay. I hope it does though. What I'm hoping for Betty Silk and for you as a viewer is that there's a sense of progression as we go along through making these videos. Some of them I'll just be chatting away as thoughts occur to me. Sometimes I might share some insights, or I might be teaching things. What else? Yeah, maybe reviews of things, and also some sew-alongs. Probably do some sew-alongs. That would be good, wouldn't it? What else do you think might work? What would be good? I think number one is just to acknowledge that for where I am now, both in my personal life, how I clothe myself, how I represent myself as a middle years woman, I'm not ready to agree with the being quiet, invisible thing. I don't think any of us are really, but what is there out there that can help me continue with a sense of style that I feel like I want, that I deserve? That's what I'm looking for. And if I have to design it myself, then I blooming well will. So yeah, anyway, I hope some of this is making sense. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you for watching along. Please, if you're interested in seeing how this journey goes, please do hit the subscribe button. I'd really appreciate that. And you know, it would be great to get to know you over the time as well. So comments are welcome. And yeah, let's see what Betty Silk wants to be. All right, my darlings. From my home here, you can see Rusty's having a lovely snooze behind me. This is where I have my desk over in that corner, but I do have a studio in Bristol, so sometimes I might be recording from there. But from here by the sea, out west of Bristol, thank you so much from me and Rusty. Until next time, loads of love. Bye.